Today we're doing a little bit of a different video because we're in my car. We're going to change out this crappy stereo. That's today on Tech Guy Life. So I have just about the worst factory stereo that you can get with my Jeep here. And I got a deal on eBay for an upgraded unit. We're just going to change the OEM factory unit with another OEM factory unit, but one that's just a little bit better. Apparently all we have to do is pop this out. Then there's two screws holding this in. And we take this out and then put the new one in. And the new one came with the whole thing, like the whole vents and everything, because I guess it was taken out of a Jeep that was going to be destroyed. Okay, let's see if we can pop the clips in here. Well, that came out pretty easy once you get in. Apparently if you go in at the bottom, it's a little bit easier. That last clip won't let go. There it goes. Okay. So, I can disconnect this or just leave it here. Those two screws right there. Looks like they're just Phillips. So, with the two screws undone, apparently, now all I need to do is pop the clips on this frame. So some people online are just able to just grab it and yank it off, but mine seems to be on there pretty good because it's never been removed. Can't seem to find the clips. Actually, I know what we can do. Let's grab the new one. So according to the new one, there's a clip right there and there. Let's see if I can get this one again. Oh, there we go. Got that one. See if I can get this one on this side. Okay, got that clip popped. Sorry if the angles are not good. So now, apparently, it's just these ones at the top. A set of these trim pry tools is probably a really good purchase so that you don't wreck any of your dashboard or anything. All right, let's see. They're not expensive, and it's worth it for not wrecking anything. And I just clipped it back in. All right, there we go. Cool. I got to remove this clip, which is for the hazard light. And there, the dashboard trim is removed. So now again, 4 Phillips screws. Four screws removed, the deck should just come out. It's teeny tiny, look at that. There are 4 connectors on the back. There's 2 antennas, which are back here. There's the yellow one, the white one. This is the USB port, and then this is the actual audio harness, or with the power and the speakers and all that jazz. Let's see if there's an easy way to do this. Okay, the audio harness has a lever. It's really hard to do with one hand. Let me disconnect it and then I'll show you. So the audio harness has a little clip right here that clips onto this plastic bar, and it's a pain in the butt to undo. But as soon as you do manage to get that up, that just comes right out. So that's one piece done. The next one is the USB port. It has a tab right here that you got to push in on in order to remove it. These are all brand new and never been removed before, so they're all a little sticky. So there we go. So there's that. The white one is, I believe, the FM. That came off super easy. It has a clip too. You just push down on right here. And then the yellow one is the satellite antenna, and I think the GPS antenna. They kind of get used for the same thing. So that just disconnects out, and the old one is done. So I have the new one here in position, and it has exactly the same connections. So it's got the yellow one, although it's kind of greenish looking, but whatever. The white antenna, the big audio connection, the USB port goes right there, and then I still have to hook up the hazard button, which is back here. I can't even tell if you can see. There it is. Yeah, right there. So hazard button, USB port, main audio harness, yellow antenna, and white antenna. So I'm going to go ahead and hook those up because this is going to be impossible to do with one hand. Hold on, because probably really can't see it very well because it's so sunny today. But there is everything connected. The cables are a little bit shorter on this one, so I'm kind of half holding it up at the same time with one hand. So I'm going to get it clipped back into place. Okay, so I just pushed it back into place. It clipped in, and that's it. That's all you have to do in terms of the physical install. But when you buy these, so let's turn it on and see if it even works. That's a good sign. Okay, so when you get an aftermarket, like if you buy an OEM from a third party, sorry about the screen flicker. Hopefully the LCD doesn't look too bad. If I angle this way, it seems to be better. But when you buy an aftermarket or just off eBay, another one of these factory stereos, you have to enter a theft code. So I got mine. Mine is... All right, that worked. So the codes, there's lots of places on eBay that will sell you a code, but I found a couple of places where you could go sign up for a forum and then just ask, and someone will nicely make you your code. And that's what I just did and entered it, and it works just fine. So the point of the theft codes is supposed to be to keep it from, keep people from stealing stereos and then just using them randomly. If you get it from the dealership, they'll ask you for the VIN number from the donating vehicle, which I had. I had that information. If you buy it from a reputable dealer on eBay, they'll be able to give you that information, or even potentially the actual code. But now apparently what needs to happen, as you can see, nothing is working. So if I push radio, it actually came up that time, but I'm not hearing anything. So it does appear to be working. Now sometimes what can happen is if you do get one of these systems and you put it in and you don't have all your features, it's because it has to program itself with the computer in your car. So I don't seem to be having that problem right now, which is good. And man, that screen is just flickering. Oh, there, it finally fixed itself. But anyway, that's it for the install. I'm gonna go put the extra screws back in and we'll give it a little run. Okay, so the screws are back in. And now all we have to do is take this piece and just push it back in, and it just clips into place. So everything's working. All the functions are there. It's connected up to my climate controls exactly how it should be. Everything's working perfectly. A lot of videos on YouTube make it seem like you can do this just by letting it sit in the car for a few days. That is not the case in my situation. In my situation, what happened is that after I got it all hooked up and everything was working, the next day I noticed that the odometer was flashing. It was blinking. And I could not figure out why. And then I started looking it up. And it ends up that Chrysler, Jeep, and all those other people have put in basically kind of a software lock. There's a function called a proxy alignment that has to be done. And what that is it reprograms the computers in the car to tell it all the new hardware that is there. So what was happening is because the radio was not the radio that was supposed to be in here, it was kind of freaking out saying, we've got a new radio. And I didn't notice it really off the beginning, except for the climate controls weren't exactly right. it didn't have the exact, because I just have manual controls, and it was thinking that I had an automatic climate control, like a dual zone. So to fix that, you have to run what's called a proxy alignment, which is something that typically only the dealership can do, unless you happen to have what's called an ODB2 adapter and you have some software that's capable of running a proxy alignment. So here we go again with manufacturers not letting you have what you have. It's not really yours. You can't tell it to do what you need it to do. You have to rely on them to fix it for you. The last listing I read was a few years ago, and it was $100 US. So let's, take inflation into account. So they've probably raised it's probably $175 now. And then change it to Canadian. Canadian dealerships probably charge $200, $250 just to do a simple proxy alignment, which finds out that it is a 5-minute procedure. So I don't know if those numbers are accurate, but it's more money than what you should have to spend, which is zero. You need an ODB2 adapter and some software. The one they suggest that I saw in all the forums about Jeeps was also a few years old, was a particular model that was over $100. And I wanted to do it for less than that. So I started digging into what actually you need to have on there, and it's CAN bus communications in medium speed, which is what my Jeep needs. Your mileage may vary. You may be able to get away with a cheaper one, or you may need a more expensive one. What I ended up finding was this one, which is the vLinker MC. It was less than half the price of the other one that they suggest, and it did just as good a job. So they have a vLinker MC Plus, which means it will work on Apple. It'll work on iOS, iPads, all that kind of stuff too, as opposed to this one, which just works on Windows and Android. Here's the little device here. And what this does is this gets plugged into the ODB port, which is, for those that don't know, it's kind of underneath your dashboard over there. There's a port that you can plug this into. There's a port down here that you plug this into. You pair it up with Bluetooth on your phone, or in my case, I have this really old crappy tablet. So you connect to the vLinker via Bluetooth. Once you plug it in, you turn on your car, you can then set up there's a button on it. You push that, it goes into pairing mode, and then you just pair it with your device, and then download the updater software and run the updater software. So it's connected with my device. My device has 2.2.90 on there. It didn't have that before. When I got it, it was a lower version of the firmware, so I updated it, and I had to be on 2.2.90 for this to work properly. It did not work properly in the beginning. So once you get the device connected, you have to get another piece of software that is capable of running the proxy alignment. For Jeep Chrysler vehicles, there's a program called AlphaODB, and this is kind of the program that everyone suggests you use. First thing you have to do is click on the Bluetooth and pick your device. And then it'll say connected, and then you pick, I pick Jeep, my vehicle, and then you pick the body device or the body computer device, and then you click connect. And then it says it's connected. And then down at the bottom, you click the little car, and then it asks you, then it says, what procedure do you want to run? And then you scroll through the list, and one of them will be a proxy alignment. And there it is right there near the bottom. I'm not going to run it again because I don't want to screw things up. But you run that, and it just takes like 5 seconds. It's really not long at all. And it just kind of goes through. Actually, I can select it and show you. So you pick it, and then what it does is it connects to all of the nodes on the CAN network, and then recalibrates everything and sets them all up together. But if you do this and it fails, you can end up with more error messages than what you started with. If the flashing odometer doesn't bug you and you have all the functions available on your stereo, maybe just live with it. One forum post that I read is some guy had that happen for a year before he actually got everything else. Like you could wait till you get these ODB devices go on sale or something. This software has so many options, and I believe it's like a professional type of software for mechanics. So there are a lot of ways in that software to screw things up, and I don't want you to do that. I am no expert now. I just managed to run the proxy alignment, but there's a way in there you can back up your body computer memory. That way, if it does fail, you can at least put all of your existing settings back so you don't end up with airbag messages and ABS messages and all kinds of stuff, because it talks to everything in the car. But again, should we have to do this stuff? No. Why doesn't a proxy alignment just happen automatically inside of the car when a new device is connected? This is just another way of manufacturers not letting us own what we own. Apparently, this proxy alignment issue could happen as well if you just bought an aftermarket stereo and put it in, because it still has to talk on the CAN bus in order to get all the information. So that's it for today. Hopefully someday we'll be able to, upgrade our cars again without having to have manufacturers stick their noses into everything. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.